Top 5 questions your realtor can't answer and why. Have you ever asked a realtor a question only to get a vague or a non-committal answer? It's not because they don't want to answer, it's because the law says they can't. So stick around and I'll uncover the top 5 questions your realtor can't answer and explain how we navigate these tricky situations to give you the best possible advice. Hi, I'm Amy Clark with Cry Realtors, licensed in Mississippi and in Tennessee. Welcome to my channel, Living in Memphis in the Mid-South. We're gonna give you everything you need to know about this exciting city. Today, we're diving into some of the toughest questions realtors legally and ethically can't answer, and what you can do instead to get the information you need. If you find this information helpful, like and subscribe, tap that button below, and you'll get all the real estate tips and tricks. Question number 1, is this neighborhood safe? Fair housing laws prohibit realtors from discriminating based on sex, race, color, religion, disability, familial status, or national origin. So when you ask me if this neighborhood is safe, the only thing I can do is direct you to Google, go to SpotCrime, go to niche.com, go to the police station right there. Ask them what the statistics are like. I can't give you that information, but you can readily find it, and that's how I answer that question. Is this neighborhood safe? Like I said, safety is subjective. What feels safe to one person may not feel safe to another person. Answering that question could unintentionally steer you into another neighborhood, and that would be a violation of the fair housing law. So what you can do instead is go to SpotCrime. It shows recent crimes in an active neighborhood with an interactive map. Neighborhood Scout offers crime statistics and safety ratings. Visit the neighborhood in person. I always tell my buyers to go to the neighborhood during the day, during the weekday, and on the weekends, and go at night as well. Always look for what the activity is. Are the streets lit up? Is it a busy area? Is it not a busy area? So you can get a better idea of what the neighborhood looks like for yourself. How much should I offer on this house? Well, I can't answer that question because providing a specific number may risk my fiduciary duty to you. It could be a conflict of interest, and I could actually mislead you. So we don't want to ever do that. What I can do instead is give you a comparative market analysis, a CMA. So this is paperwork, and it will explain to you the history of the neighborhood and what has sold recently within the last 3 to 6 months. It's gonna have your house that you're looking at, the size, the bedrooms, the bathrooms, and the size of the lot as well. And it will show you what house, very similar to this house that you're looking at, it will show you the ones that have sold within the last 6 months, what they sold for, what they were listed for, and what it sold for. So we want to definitely keep you competitive, but we want to keep you from not overpaying in a buyer's market, which is what we're in right now. So you have time to look at the house, you have time to make a decision and make a very informed decision. So I'm gonna give you all the tools you need to make an informed decision on what to offer for the house, but I cannot tell you what to offer on your house. That is your money, not mine. Can I skip a home inspection? Well, yes, I don't advise it. It is legal to skip a home inspection, but your home inspection is gonna give you valuable information that I can't answer. I am not a home inspector. I can give you an opinion, but you're not really supposed to rely on my opinion. I can't tell you the age of the roof. I can't tell you the square footage. I don't know anything about, okay. We have a disclosure that we actually have buyers and sellers sign because I talk a lot, and I don't want to get myself in trouble. I have general real estate knowledge, but I cannot discuss. When I talk a lot, unintentionally say the wrong thing. So I want you to know that I don't know about square footage. We'll get someone to help you measure that. I don't know about the boundaries, lines, or the surveys. We have a surveyor, or if it's already been surveyed, we can pull that paperwork up. I don't know that. I'm not a structural engineer. I'm not an environmental specialist. I don't know anything about the conditions of the property. So we were gonna have to say if there's a crack in the foundation, we would actually want to get a structural engineer out, someone that's licensed in the state of Tennessee or Mississippi to uncover these questions. Now, I can point you in the right direction for these things, but I cannot tell you my opinion because my opinion is useless. I don't know the condition of the roof. We'll have to get a roofer out here to look at it, or an inspector for that reason. I don't know anything about utilities, the connections, where your water bill comes from. I don't know about the the water, I don't know about the sewage or the septic tank or city or public well. I can point you in the right directions for these things. So a lot of times when I'm in a house walking with a buyer and they ask me, well, what about the roof, or what about, I almost walk around a house going, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know anything. And you're actually going to sign a disclosure agreeing with me and cry like that we don't know anything about these questions. So I don't know about flooding, but I do know when it's raining outside, that is the best time to go and see a house. That will give you firsthand knowledge of where the water runs, where it sits, where it lasts, if there's a drainage issue or if there's flooding issues in a neighborhood. So I know it's not fun to look at a house when it's raining, but that will give you your answer directly about flooding and drainage and issues like that, which I don't know about anything. I don't live in the neighborhood. I don't know where the water goes. Now, in my house, I do know that we had to get a lot of French drains put in. I've got a neighbor that sits higher than me, and then I have a neighbor that sits lower than me. So I'm not at the bottom of the hill, but it washes everything away. So we put 3 French drains in with a T that pulls that water. And those French drains have kept my dogs from being muddy, my house from being a little cleaner, and not tracking mud and paw prints all through the house. Isn't that right, Griswold? So French drains have been a lifesaver for my yard as well as my neighbor that sits a little lower than I do. Her yard would just stand with water. And when we got the French drains in, it really helped both of our yards out. Now, this French drain is a huge 4-inch pipe that is buried really far, maybe 6 or 7 feet down into the ground, and it's angled and it pulls out to the street, and it dumps about, I'm gonna lie about this, I don't know how much water it comes out of it. It comes out gushing all the way to the middle of the street and then down into the drain. So it pulls thousands of gallons at a time out of my yard. So that is fantastic. But I only know that because of my own problem in my own house. So now that that's fixed, everything is much better. In your neighborhood, I can pull up the covenants and restrictions and hand them to you. I can pull up the HOA paperwork and hand it to you, but I specifically don't know anything about how the HOA performs or the covenants and restrictions of any particular neighborhood. So I don't know that either, okay? The value or investment potential or resale value, that's the future, and I can't predict the future. I can't tell you if this property is gonna hold its value, go up in value, or go down in value. So there's so many things that affect that. People moving in the area, people leaving the area, shopping centers being built, all these kinds of things can potentially affect the property value in the future. So when I say, I don't know if it's gonna go up in value, now, typically houses will go up in value. That's why it's a good financial investment. But we don't know everything. A neighborhood could take a turn, and I don't know the future. And people tend to move where up and coming developments are happening. So that's that. I don't know the value. I don't know what's gonna happen. So another thing people ask me about is school districts and the boundaries of the zoning. Now in our MLS, our multiple listing service, it will give us the zones for school districts, and I can present that information to you. But cities, I can't predict if you're gonna be in the Lewisburg School District. If you buy this house until your children are done, the city could actually move a line. So in our neighborhood, we were in a certain school district when we moved in. The very next year, our kids were pulled out of that school district and put into a different school district for 2 years. And then they redrew the lines again and put us back into the old school district. So it was very confusing for a while. And it was, kind of annoying with the parents we were not happy about all that kind of stuff. But that's settled down now, and they're not moving the district lines as much right now. But the building is, pretty extensive here in the Memphis and MidSouth area. So they're always building. They're building new schools in Cordova right now. They're building new schools in Lakeland, Arlington. Everything around here with people moving and the neighborhoods being built, you need the schools. So they are building new schools. That I know. Anyway, the last one of these on the disclosures that we're getting into is video and audio. Well, you're watching a video right now. Always assume when you are walking through seller's home, a potential house that you're gonna buy, always assume that you're being recorded. So what I do is I tell my buyer, zip it. We're not gonna talk about their ugly furniture. We're not gonna talk about their pictures on the walls. We're not going to talk about anything. We are gonna smile and say, and let me do the talking when we're in a house. So I will direct you, this is the living room and this is the refrigerator, and so I will talk about the house. When we get outside of the earshot or the screens of the cameras, not around the Ring doorbell, back in the car, elsewhere, we can talk about how you really feel about that property, good or bad. We don't ever want to discuss price inside of a property with a camera possibly recording you. I don't want to put you in jeopardy about not getting a house because you may have said something about the house is overpriced or their furniture is ugly. The seller can see that and they could be turned off by you. That's also why we don't write love letters. So we don't want to influence. I don't want you to influence. I don't want to be an influencer of your decision or the seller's decision. So we'll get into that one. I'm gonna do a fair housing video here coming up shortly. But so when we're in a house and we're walking around and you're asking me questions and I say I don't know, I really, by law, I can't disclose things I do or don't know or have feelings or opinions about things. So probably against the law if I answer these questions, or I would do harm to you fiducially. And I don't want to do harm to you at any time. So yes, get an inspection. Yes, you can skip it. I always advise my clients to get a home inspection. They are your safety net. And then you can refer back to it once you're in your house about how old the air conditioner is, how old the hot water tank is, what's the average lifespan of the roof. You can always refer back to it. And when you need to change your air filters, when you need to change batteries in your smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, that kind of thing. And now, question 5, is this area growing in value or declining in value? Realtors can't answer that question because we can't predict the future. And so many things that are beyond our control. You could come back and possibly sue me if I tell you that it's going up in value and that your property declines in value. And I just can't be responsible for that. So what we do is we'll look at the historical value. We'll look at what has happened in the past, where it's trending, and we will also look at the future. What's being built? Is there a new shopping center being built in Hernando? There's Union Depot going in to downtown Bartlett, which is gonna be the retail space, the parks, and all the single houses. They're doing that in South Haven, Hernando, Olive Branch, Bartlett, and Millington. They're doing all these complexes where they're adding more retail and family, single house, and condos all together. So that's what's coming up. So I can direct you and tell you where these things are going to be and what's going to be happening in this area in the future, because I know about these things. But I can't answer your question, are you going to lose money if you buy this property? I just don't know the answer to that. So we can't predict the future, but I can arm you with all the information, the tools, and the people you need to make an investment decision, make a good investment decision. As realtors, we're here to guide you through the process of home buying, but some questions fall into gray areas. We can't answer some of these questions directly. That's why we provide the tools and resources you need to make your informed decisions. If you have any more questions about real estate or Memphis living, drop me a comment, give me a call, connect with me, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time where we will make your Memphis dream a reality.